Hi, welcome to another episode of the Thriving Immigrant podcast. I'm your host. My name is Paul, and I'm grateful to God for the opportunity to host you once again today. I've got a fantastic person on the show. He's somebody I really respect, admire, and I've been following him and his works for a while. He is a community builder, passionate about educating people and seeing people grow. His his mantra is nothing short of excellence. His name is Adebayo Ajayi. Adebayo is a seasoned personal excellence coach with over 15 years of experience, holding distinctions in oil and gas engineering and chemical engineering. He's currently pursuing an executive MBA and is dedicated to sustainable learning. Adebayo is also an author, speaker, and social entrepreneur, leading Success Within International to raise individuals for global success. He hosts the Personal Excellence podcast. He calls it Personal Excellence with Adebayo. He's a certified project manager with extensive international experience. He's also the CEO of PMP-Hub and a co-founder at Valid Point Academy. He runs a project management learning institute. In his current role as senior manager, he oversees multi-million dollar projects. Adebayo is also an adjunct professor and member of Nova Talent, Harvard Business Reviews Advisory Council, and volunteers at the Project Management Institute. Have mentioned his mantra before, nothing short of excellence. Thank you so much, Adebayo, for joining me on the Thriving Immigrant podcast. You are a thriving immigrant, and I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me as well. Thank you.
All right. So let's just get straight to it. Can you tell us a little bit about your immigration journey, your journey into becoming an entrepreneur? How did you find yourself in Canada?
Okay, how did I find myself in Canada? So I think mine is a bit different from the jackpot syndrome. And my immigration journey actually started in 2020. And I just I wanted to be globally relevant. And I remember how it all started. I would speak to my friends that are in Europe, speak to my friends that are in North America, and I just kind of saw how they were doing. And I compared that to myself in Nigeria, even though at that point I was working in a very good organization and I was well paid and all, but I just felt I needed to take my excellence to the next level and become globally relevant. So yes, my journey started 2020. However, due to COVID-19, my permanent resident application was not approved until 2022. So I landed in Canada, a very unique date actually, 22nd of February 2022. So I always call the date 2022-02-2022. So yes, that's basically how my journey started in Canada. And I'm just about 2 years in Canada as of today.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Honestly, somebody would think you've been here for over 5 years. I don't know when I started following you on Instagram, but now that you are saying it, I thought you've been here for a longer time. So you are doing fantastically well. You are a thriving immigrant because
Thank you.
you've touched so many lives within that short while of being
Thank
in
you.
Canada. Thank you for sharing that. You recently launched your book, Living Excellently, and first of all, I will say congratulations on that. And I know the book is about excellence in
Yeah.
life.
Yes.
So, what inspired you to write this book, and what key principles or insight do you expect your readers to take away from it?
Good. So yes, the book is titled Living Excellently. And I basically wrote the book because I realized that a lot of people want to succeed in life and they only focus on one aspect of life. There is something we call life will. When we look at life will have to do with our career, our communication skills, our family, even our health and finances as well, capacity building, the way we volunteer, like every aspect of life. And I realized that, oh, yes, you will find people that are doing well in their career, but in terms of their family or their relationship, they are probably struggling. Or some people that have good financial life, however, they don't even have a sustainable career to ensure that the income is healthy. So I realized that a lot of people are basically staggering through life, and the whole book living excellently is actually an overall picture of the life wheel on how every single person, you can start your day with one of the nuggets in the book. So the book is actually tagged 120 days for inspirational living. So in 3 months, every single day, you meet with something in the book. So it can be time management, it can be how to have a good conversation, it can be how to succeed in this whole sustainability agenda. So it's basically an every aspect of life book so that every single person can start the day re-energized and try to be the best in whatever they do based on the habits they develop it from the book. So yes, that's basically the inspiration behind the book.
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing that. I was just like already carried away by you explaining that. And talking about that, I think what you're trying to say is in your book, you explained how people can live a balanced life and succeed in
Absolutely.
everything they want to, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's interesting that I'm not sure how to ask this question. So it looks like in life, something must go for something.
Mm.
Like you want to succeed in your career, there are times you will probably need to sacrifice some things, maybe like your family life to
Yeah.
achieve some things, or you probably want to spend more time with your family. Do you think it's possible to actually achieve a balanced life?
So I think you asked me a very powerful question. I was in a meeting about 7, 8 years ago, and somebody talked about this work-life balance. That work-life balance does not exist, and I absolutely agree. What exists is actually work-life synergy. So work-life synergy is basically the amalgamation of the aspect of your life. So let me tell you why work-life balance does not exist. So today now, you cannot tell me that the same amount of time you've dedicated to your work is the same amount of time dedicated for your family, the same amount of time you've dedicated for your health. Absolutely not. But what you've done is that you try to start each day with what is important and focus on what is important, and then you move to the next important, and you try to synchronize everything so that nothing suffers. So that is actually how to live a fulfilled life. So I don't call it work-life balance, I call it work-life synergy, where every aspect of life is well taken care of. So for example, I practically try to do this. My work week, Monday to Wednesday, is the busiest part of my work week. Right, Thursday to Friday, I intentionally always ramp down to ensure that I enter the weekend with so much ease and focus on every other thing which is not my 9 to 5. So it's just the way I've tried to map my career work week to ensure that, oh, I do the heavy stuff Monday to Wednesday, Thursday to Friday. You ramp down, I can do other stuff, and then weekend I really rest during the weekend and all. So yes, so it's work life synergy.
Thank you. That's a very good one. That's a good answer. Work-life synergy, not work-life balance. And I
Balance.
think when we approach life that way, it will be easier for us to achieve things that we want to achieve.
Absolutely.
That's a very brilliant response. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Okay. Interestingly, whenever I see Success Bayo, one thing that comes to my head is about project management. I don't know where I got that from. Maybe I just have this strong attachment of project management with Success Bio.
Yeah.
Now, I know you are a project manager and I know it's something you are passionate about. How do you see the intersection between personal excellence, project management, and entrepreneurship in your work?
Okay. Very, very good. I would like to start by defining what a project is. So, when you look at a project, so what we call a project is any temporary endeavor, something that has a beginning and an end, and then produces something new. So, the something new can be a product, it can be a service, it can be a result. So, technically, project, we can say project is when you produce something that has a beginning and an end and produces something new. And I love the concept of project management because as a person, even before, because I trained as an engineer, by the way. And but apart from being an engineer in terms of career, my aspiration has always been to help people around me succeed. And then I've been very big on what we call soft skill, but I think now it's called life skill. So I've been very big on communication. I've been very big on time management. I'm very big on, how to have that overall balance in life. And so project management was was that career that really, really aligned with what I was passionate about as an individual. I'll give a good example. You mentioned about how project management also intersects with entrepreneurship as well. I'll just give a very basic example. Every business owner wants to make one thing primarily, and that's the bottom line. What do we call bottom line? Profit. So every business basically wants to make profit. That's the whole agenda. And project management is basically applying discipline into the work you are doing to ensure that you maximize the value of your output. So technically, if you're an entrepreneur and you are venturing into new business, whether it's product or service, you want to maximize your profit by optimizing your resources, by optimizing your cost of production, by optimizing whatever you put into your business and maximizing your output. So the project management and the excellence, what is that discipline that we add to project management? This is time management, for example, to ensuring that projects finish on schedule, that or within time, as well as finish within budget as well, and you don't exceed the scope. So when you look at the triangle of project management, which is the scope, which is the time, which is the schedule, as well as the quality of it, and then you relate it with personal excellence, is exactly what excellence is. Because what is excellence? Excellence is basically a progressive realization of a worthy goal. It means something that you do and you keep getting better. So excellence is not perfection, by the way. Excellence is that you just keep getting better, which is what the Japanese call kaizen, which means to improve. So excellence is basically improvement. And when you look at project management, you look at personal excellence, you look at entrepreneurship, you find out that they are all in the same bucket, and each one of them is like a gear that can help the other one to propel and move.
Wow, wow. I love how you join everything together, and I can tell that you even on your daily activities you apply your project management skills. Thank you. Thank you. It's been a very wonderful conversation, and I'm learning a
Thank you.
lot from you right now. Now, I know you founded Success Within International, and I'm curious, at what point did you launch Success? Was it before you landed in Canada, or was it after you landed
Okay.
in Canada?
I launched Success with International while I was in Nigeria. I was basically I was in my fourth year in the university studying a 5 year course. So that was where we started Success with International. And Success with International is actually 12 years. We will be 12 years this year. So more than a decade already.
Wow. It looks like you've been on this journey for quite a while, and you had a strong vision, like you knew what you wanted in life from a very young age. Did
Yeah.
you have access to mentors at a very young age? Because now that you've mentioned to me that Success Winter is 12 years old,
Yes.
I just try to imagine what people like your age, my age, were doing 12 years ago.
Yeah.
But I'm really inspired by what you've done. Like you had a very good vision and you knew what you wanted out of life. What how would you describe your childhood? Was there any
Yes.
particular person that influenced
Yeah.
you, or did you have access to mentors early in
So
life?
my dad was the greatest, has always been the greatest influence in my life, starting from while I was growing up. So my dad was a very successful engineer. And apart from just being a successful engineer, he was always there to model the right thing. So talking about excellence, me being the best in whatever I do, I like that from my dad. And he was never okay with average results. So my dad was like, you know what, you can be the best of yourself, not just be the best of the people around you. You must be the best of yourself and you must keep improving. I remember this very personal example. While I was in uni, my first semester result in uni, I had 4.95 out of 5. And of course, it was a very good grade. And I called my dad. My dad, oh yeah, well done. But this is just an advanced secondary school. This is just 100 level. I'm like, why are you not even celebrating this result? So, and it kind of dawned on me that he didn't want me to relax. He just wanted to keep pushing me until I graduated. And I remember when I graduated and I had the first class, he was like, "Oh, well done." Of course, he gave so many gifts and all. And that has always been the greatest influence in my life. And number two, my dad has always he was so conscious of the kind of school he sent us to. So me in particular, I went to a Christian school from GSS 1, and the school was intentional about leadership. So as basic as leading chapels, leading the hostel, what fellowship, trying to the class prefect. Like the school was pretty intentional about leadership. And the third one as well is that the university I went to, which was Covenant University. Covenant University, we call it a birthplace of kings and queens. And Covenant University is basically a model of excellence in every way you can think about it. And so while I was in that kind of environment, based on my experience with my dad, my primary school, my secondary school, my university, so those were the things that basically shaped me. And and I did not just pass through the system; I allowed the system to pass through me. So these were the formative things that really shaped me into who I am, and of course led to Success International. And while I was in school, in Covenant University to be precise, there was this shout of vision, purpose. Do you know your vision, know your purpose in life? And of course, that sent me back to my drawing board. And then I was able to discover that my vision basically is to help everyone around me succeed. And I'm very heavy on that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, Bayo, for sharing this one. This particular one is I think is emotional to me because it just shows how, as parents, we can consciously and unconsciously build a good future for the kids.
Yeah.
Now, you've done so well for yourself. I'm really inspired by what you've done, but sharing your story is is quite inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I have millions of questions I want to ask you, but it looks like I have to bring you back again. This particular one, I didn't even think about it. It's just from from answering the last question that this question popped up in my head. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you will be, you've worked with different people in life. You must have come across different leaders, and they probably must have influenced you apart from your dad. Do you have one powerful advice or one powerful piece of advice that keeps you going, or that you think is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Yes. And this advice is actually from one of my role models, which is Dr. Samadeyemi. And the advice is basically like life begins from within, then without. So, and what does this quote basically mean? It means that whatever you have within you is whatever is going to show outside. So, every single time you want to be a better person, you have to take something in. You have to take something in terms of knowledge, the kind of movies you watch, the kind of audio tapes you listen, the kind of church you go, the kind of environment you stay in, the kind of books you read. So, and it's a very powerful advice. And every single time I read it, I eat a stubborn block myself. I always try to go back to the drawing board. I need to get a particular knowledge to take me out of this particular situation or to even make me better. And most times we always try to wait for when we are in that shall I say that when we're in that valley. You don't need to wait for valley before you go for information. You don't need to wait for valley before you go for knowledge. So and as much as possible, expose yourself to knowledge, expose yourself to things that can really help you grow. So yes, life begins from within and then without. That's the quote.
Thank you. When I said we have a lot of things in common, I didn't know about Pastor Sam, but Pastor Sam is somebody I really respect and admire a lot. He's also my role model. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm familiar with that advice. Yes, he says it every time. Okay. So this is likely to be my last question for you. You've mentioned about life skills and all that. If you are going to highlight it, what would you say are the 3 biggest life skills that anyone should have if they want to succeed in life?
Amazing. So, particular order, the first one is consistency. A lot of people start things and they don't finish it. And, consistency is not something that you stumble upon. Consistency is something you are intentional about. And I'm going to give you a very, very basic example. When you are doing something and probably someone calls you and you want to leave that thing, I'm so conscious about it that if I don't finish task A, I'm not going to move to task B. And, and that's maybe that's one of the things why it really helps me to become a good project manager. When I start a project, I really want to see the end of it. So consistency is very powerful, especially in our generation that is full of so many distractions and something. If you're reading a book, see that you finish that book. If you start a business, see that you get to the end of that business. Very, very important. That's the first one, consistency. The second thing is hard work. One of my mentors once said to me that hard work does not kill. What kills is hard life. So let me take that again. Hard work does not kill anybody. It's only hard life that kills somebody. And you can call the word hard work diligence as well. So it's so important. And the Bible says that says that a man who is diligent in his business will stand before kings and not mere men. Proverbs 22:29. So basically, what this means is that we people need to really work hard, and diligence is so powerful. When you start something and you give it your time, give it your attention, you try to get so much knowledge, you invest your financial resources on it, you will see that most times it will be successful. I'm not promising you that, at the first trial you eat your success, but what I'm trying to say is that if you keep at it, you are diligent and you are consistent with it, there is no way you are really not going to succeed. And the third point, I've talked about consistency, I've talked about diligence, and the third one is time management. Time management, one of the things I realized growing up now is that for every single month, is like there's something else that is being added to my plate. And if you're not careful, you would be distracted. And someone once said, again, I love quotes a lot. Someone once said that the greatest mystery that can befall a man is to do effectively well what he should not have done at all. Let me take that again. The greatest mystery that can befall a man is to do effectively well what he should not have done at all. Time management is very powerful. Prioritize your time. We've talked a lot about there's only called balance, but it's synergy. Focus on what is important. Every single time you find yourself doing urgent things, it means that you're in trouble, because technically you should take out the important things even before you get to it. And you should have less urgent things on your plate if you're managing your time well. So these are the three top most powerful skills that I think that can help any individual succeed: consistency, diligence, and effective time management.
Wow, those are very big ones. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I agree with you completely. I've experienced different things in life that have shown me that truly when you're consistent at something, you have a higher chance to be successful.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming. So my last question would be, what are your services? Do you offer coaching services? Do you train people on different things, life skills, project management, and how can they contact you?
Okay, so yes, I'm a project manager, and I consult for organizations, small and medium scale businesses that want to have the PMO, which is the project management office in their business, and also for individuals that want to write project management exams or need hands-on experience on project management. I do that. On the personal excellence coach, so every aspect of your life, any capacity building, the time management is this skill. Do you just want a coach to listen to you and to guide you on your next move? I also do that. And I think the fastest and the easiest way to contact me is through Instagram. Just send me a DM. I always respond. That's amazing. I always respond. So at Success Bayo, I will respond to your message.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Success Bayo. It's been a very beautiful conversation. I will surely have you back because it looks like you have a lot to talk about. Thank you for not dimming your light. Thank you for shining, and thank you for empowering not just people around you, but the entire world.
Thank you
so much.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it, everyone. Till I see you again, stay thriving.